Netflix is set to report third quarter earnings after the closing bell on Wednesday. Here with what to expect is Tuna Amobi, who covers Netflix for S&P Capital IQ. And Tuna, what kind of revenue growth should we expect to see? The company is forecasting about $1.6 billion for the third quarter, up from about $1.5 billion during second quarter.
That's right. I think that those numbers look well achievable, if anything conservative. I think Netflix has been able to sustain north of 20% revenue growth, which could actually provide an upside in the context of aggressive international expansion.
All right, now during the second quarter, the company added 3.3 million new streaming subscribers compared to 1.7 million during the first quarter. What kind of growth should we expect during this third quarter?
Well, this third quarter, the company is guiding to 3.6 million global net additions, 1.2 in the US and 2.4 internationally. But much like the second quarter, we think those Q3 targets could be somewhat conservative. We think the company is well positioned to continue to benefit from exponential growth in streaming hours and, more importantly, international expansion. They just launched in Japan, and then they've got other recent markets that are starting to gain traction as well. So we expect Q3 to be quite strong.
Because there seems to be a ceiling on U.S. growth, right?
Yes, well, yes and no. Yes, because I think U.S. growth is somewhat trailing international for obvious reasons. But no, I think the company has really reiterated that in the U.S. their target of 60 to 90 million long-term subscriber is quite achievable. They ended Q2 with about 42 million in the U.S. So there's still quite a significant headroom left to go.
All right, and you have a buy rating on the stock. Shares so far this year are up over 130%. So where is the stock going?
We have a target price over the next 12 months, $128. Obviously, they just had a stock split, recently. We think that given the international story, which is largely underrepresented in the stock price, we think that that's a major catalyst ahead. So granted, as you alluded to, it's been extremely, easily the best performer across sectors. We get a lot of questions on valuation for Netflix, but we think the catalysts are in place to, reach our 12-month target price.
And tell us about Netflix's price increase. They just announced a rise in its standard subscription service to $9.99 a month from $8.99 a month. Is that something to watch down the road?
That's something definitely that will provide, an uplift for revenues as you look out the next year and thereafter. More importantly, I think it signals that the company does have some underlying pricing power. So if you subscribe to, not just the standard, but also if you the multi-stream subscribers, the upgrade to ultra high def, all of these are,
right.
Opportunities to raise prices. So we think that's a major positive for the story.
And just quickly, is that increase enough to make consumers flinch?
Well, I think based on what we've seen so far, we think it's modest, and we don't expect that it will have any negative impact on subscriber growth.
All right, Tuna Amobi, an analyst from S&P Capital IQ, here to preview Netflix's earnings. Thanks very much, Tuna.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Scott Gam, and you're watching The Street.